Hey, this is Ryan Klein with Mark on My Market. Today, we're going to go over a few ways to get tons of page blog geo topics to really have, a long-term vision of all the content you can create for your respective practice area. I'm going to be referring to these two websites, the Shouslot in California, Morgan, out in Orlando, Florida. At this point, they're in every state, it feels like, but the great thing is websites have a lot more transparency than people may realize. So I'm going to be going through this step by step. Need to have an Excel spreadsheet available. Notepad might be helpful as well. I'm going to go slow because there's a few steps and some of it might look like a lot of technical jargon, but I promise you it's not going to be as intimidating as it may look. So to start, most websites have their sitemap, which is a back-end organization of all the content on the website that makes it easy for Google and other search engines to know what's going on with the website, opposed to just simply kind of crawling through everything through the navigation. So the majority of websites are going to have some sort of sitemap. I'm just doing / after their .com of sitemap.xml. So you can already see here that the Shouslot has all their content kind of available on the back end, and so does for the people.com. So you can see right off the bat that they have a little bit over 4,000 URLs or pages, blogs on their website, on this particular website in there. The fun thing about Shouslot is that they have multiple sitemaps. This one has 1,000, and a lot of these have 1,000. So both these websites have thousands of pages. So what we're trying to do is basically break it down so it's easy for us to see all the different topics that they cover, maybe use it for inspiration of our own rewrites, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I'll do is I might just use Shouts as an example. I don't think that we have to do this twice. So what I do is you have 1,000 here. And one way that we can do this is I mentioned the Excel spreadsheet. Let's see if we have that sharing. Yeah, that appears to be on the screen. So one thing we can do is we can just simply, just kind of do a copy and paste and see how it looks, drop in Excel. Excel is going to be the best way to kind of organize everything. So if I were to do this copy and paste, I think that that's okay. I can work with this. So if you can see it here, okay, now we're looking at it. We basically just drop this in Excel and we have, 1,000 rows. So the first thing we want to do is we want to remove the hyperlinks. That'll organize a bit better. This B and C, this has information that we don't need. So we're going to delete. And already, this is pretty organized already. So what we want to do is we want to create a column where we have it as a reference, and then another column where we actually kind of see what the topic is. So what we'll do is we'll copy this over. Let's just put this over here just for clarity's sake. So these are going to be the references of like the actual URL as a reference once we have the topic, and we're going to call this the topic. All right. So from here, what we'll do is we'll select A as the column. We'll do find, and we're going to, how do we want to do this? Well, to start, let's do it like this. We're going to replace everything here with nothing, so we can take care of that part. And one of the things that we want to do is, you can kind of see already, obviously, kind of how everything is laid out. And again, you can do this kind of over and over again. So it looks like a lot of times there's CEOs, CEO blog, CA blog. So let's just clean up those. So what we'll do is we'll just keep on typing in, and I'm sure that there's probably other ways you can do this, but we'll just replace all these. We're just in the process of kind of just cleaning up everything. We got this NV. And so you can see at this point, some things are still like another tier down. So there are different ways that we probably could have done this at this point. Well, another thing that we can do, I know this is kind of stream of consciousness, but this is not going to take very long. What we can do is we can do a text to columns, so we can separate everything out by the / to make it a little bit more manageable. So what we'll do is we'll do other, we'll do / we'll finish, and see at this point, now we kind of have all these single other tier things out of the way. So at this point, you could always move this over. This is a little bit too manual, but it doesn't seem like there are too many things that are kind of on their own. So I'm just copying and pasting a few. And I'll pause so I can just do this and then get back and do the next last part. Okay. At this point, I cleaned up everything. Again, I mentioned the whole thing could take less than 10 minutes. That certainly only took like a few more minutes. So what I want to do is I want to delete this column that just has the subdirectory leading up to the topic. And then lastly, what I'll do is I'll go to find and replace. And so to make it just easier to read, I'll remove the dash or the hyphen, just replace it with a space. And yeah, that's pretty much, there you go. At this point, we can grab this column, put it back here. And now I pretty much have 8,000 potential topics with the reference, where if I want to get additional information, obviously not copy and paste because of plagiarism, but yeah, you can see all these different kinds of topics. It doesn't mean it has to be necessarily California, 5 most common computer crimes in Texas or New York or Louisiana. And yeah, you pretty much have this all kind of laid out with this reference. So hopefully you find that helpful in getting an idea of what some of the bigger players are doing for their content, getting some ideas, and really just helping with your content strategy.